What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Phil, and welcome back to another video. So let's talk about Kamen Rider Bitter Gavv. Now, before I continue on with this video, since I want to talk about Bitter Gavv in as much detail as I can, there will be some spoilers. So if you haven't caught up on the latest episodes yet, or if you haven't even started watching Kamen Rider Gavv yet, I highly recommend that you do start right now and then come back to this video when you're ready because, again, there will be some spoilers ahead, so please be advised. Now that said, let's go back to the actual review, or the actual topic at hand. What am I saying here? Anyways, let's continue. So, Bitter Gavv was already kind of introduced or teased in a poster posted by Bandai or Toei themselves, rather. So on the official Kamen Rider Gavv X account, and that was already like at least like a month before Kamen Rider Ram even made his debut. So we do see an introduction of what seemed to be a dark Gavv at first. At that time, its name was tentatively Dark Gavv. So at least a couple of weeks before Bitter Gavv made his debut, so we did have the official name revealed thanks to Bandai when they posted the official deluxe Bitter Gavv driver and the Bitter Gavv blade. So yeah, at least that's what we've learned so far before Bitter Gavv actually made his debut. Now, it there were some theories at first before uh, Bitter Gavv even was revealed. So even I guess like at the beginning of the show, there were already some theories, and I even have mentioned this. I think so. There might come a point when like Shoma turns like dark, and he gains some sort of like a dark form, like a berserk form. By a theory about that is that he would ingest one of those dark treats that he was actually trying to prevent the production of. Of course, that was just a theory debunked when Bitter Gavv made his debut. So let's talk about Bitter Gavv. Now, first off, let me just talk about the suit in general. It's a really, really awesome redesign of the popping gumi. I really like the design of Bitter Gavv. Honestly, yeah, everything about it is just like awesome. Like when rather the popping gumi came out, Shoma's default rider form, like people had mixed reactions. Like I was honestly more on the neutral side, like, or rather like it was okay kind of feeling. But when Bitter Gavv came out, I was immediately a fan. Like the design overall is just awesome. Like that, I get it. Like it's supposed to be like a villainous, menacing design, but they really pulled it off. Again, it's a really good redesign of popping gumi. Again, reflecting a darker tone. So, what's also interesting about Bitter Gavv, like the red and violet elements, have been kind of switched if you look closely, especially with the sword, right? The Gabu Gabu blade has red edges, while Bitter Gav's version has purple edges or like violet edges. Like again, those contrasts in general. Again, it's supposed to be just a redesign of Popping Gumi, but Toei does it really, really well with the design. So in general, like I am a fan, and I can't wait when the Sodo actually comes out. I think Bandai Candy Blog already revealed Bitter Gavv, so I'm just waiting for it to actually come out and get it because I am really excited. And As far as I'm concerned, it does come with the dark or the Bitter Gavv blade. So I'm definitely getting it once it's available, and I will be reviewing that figure for you guys when I actually get it. So now let's go to the story of Bitter Gavv. So when Bitter Gavv made his debut, so correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't been checking the episode numbers lately, but when Kamen Rider made his debut, if I'm wrong, please do correct me. So it's around episode 21. Um, yeah. So in episode 21, right? Basically when after Shoma and Rakia team up to save the people that he did kidnap, like Rakia kidnapped. Um, so Shoma returns to Happy Palette, and Sachika invites him to celebrate. Like, hey, everyone's come back. Takeshi's back. Takeshi, by the way, is the boy that was one of Nakia's victims, quote unquote. So one of the people he kidnapped. So Takeshi is back. Everybody's back to normal before they even got turned into sweets. So again, Sachika prepares this small party for her and Choma to celebrate, those missing people coming back. So obviously, this also happens after Shoma and Rakia were caught, quote unquote, cheating by Hato. So that scene was epic, by the way. So, of course, Shoma looks really down. Like, they did save a lot of people, but again, this was basically when Glota actually revealed Shoma's true identity to Rakia and the Hanto. Again, to those who haven't caught up yet, this will be spoilers. So, Shoma has been hiding the fact that he is the youngest son of the Stomach family. So, again, he is Glota's half brother. So, he did hide that information from Hanto, obviously, and even Rakia. So Rakia didn't even know that Shoma is actually part of the Stomach clan. So when, again, Glota made that Glota made that big reveal, so it really changed. Not really, but it didn't change rather, but it affected the dynamic of the writers significantly. Well, since Rakia is a new character, maybe not so much, but definitely, again, this dynamic between Shoma and Hanto definitely got affected by that. So, anyways, back to Happy Palette. So Shoma, even though they saved a lot of people, he was very much down about what Glota did and having his true identity revealed to Rakia and Hanto. So in order to I guess not affect Sachika too much, so Shoma decides to step outside, and he said like, I'm just gonna go out and buy something. But while he's outside, he suddenly loses consciousness. So, this kind of shows us, or, in a way, so, ooh, this might be where Shoma turns into Bitter Gavv. So, like, I was thinking, this is the point where Shoma is, like, consumed by his negative emotions, that, his darker persona comes out. So immediately after that, so Shoma passes out, right? And then we actually switch to Hanto, who ponders about what just transpired, what he just witnessed. Learning Shoma's true identity by accident, but nonetheless, it did really affect him, because again, he has trusted Shoma, and he actually thought Shoma was like him, like a human who had the ability to use Granute powers, but he really didn't know that Shoma was actually half Granute in the first place, especially the fact that Shoma is, uh, you know, a member of the Stomach family, which both Hanto and Rakia have despised since, I don't know, like from the get-go. So Hanto decides to, like, you know what? I'm actually gonna calm down and try to talk to Shoma about this kind of deal. So he, by chance, he does see Shoma walking around, but this time we see Shoma in darker clothing. So not his typical colorful jacket, right? So again, this is a contrast to, the typical Shoma that we know. So his colorful clothing actually reflects his personality, and again, like a darker, clothed Shoma. Obviously, we can understand that this Shoma is different from the Shoma we know. But when Hanto decides to follow this, black wearing Shoma, so this Shoma suddenly disappears. And the next thing we know, so he's attacking people left and right looking for food. So this, of course, immediately gets shared all over social media. And of course, Hanto being a journalist, a freelance journalist to be precise, so he does get wind of this information pretty soon. And of course, he is, very much shocked to see that, like, he wanted to clear up things with Shoma in a calm manner, but again, seeing what just happened with this quote unquote dark Shoma attacking innocent civilians in order to get food. Obviously, we do see like why this Shoma, this dark Shoma, has been doing what he does, but we'll get to that in a bit. So again, Shoma goes into rage mode, and this is where he reveals to Sachika that Shoma is actually a monster, and blah 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 blah. So he reveals to Sachika that Shoma is actually a grand newt. But we'll get to Sachika, I guess, maybe next time. But let's focus on Bitter Gavv. So of course we do see that, like, the next day. So Hanto tries to look for this dark Shoma, and when he does find him, so this is where Kamen Rider Bitter Gavv makes his debut. Of course, Hanto tries to stop this dark Shoma from, causing any more trouble. And when Bakya, was actually just literally passing by, so he sees Shoma and Hanto fighting, he steps in to also stop Shoma. But now, let's get into who or probably what Shoma is, or rather this dark Shoma, right? So this Bitter Gavv guy. So who is he really? So again, I did mention before, like things were kind of coming into light. So I did say that this could be a Shoma who, one, has ingested one of those dark treats, or number two, like I've said earlier, what happened in this episode as well. So Shoma does have repressed negative emotions that, his subconsciousness comes out, and this is what caused him to become Bitter Gavv. Well, the second one was kind of interesting to think about. So there was actually a scene like about 2 episodes before. So I guess episode 19, if I'm wrong, either episode 19 or 20. So there was a scene where Shoma takes Hanto to Professor Suga's laboratory. So, of course, during this time, Hanto was injured, and because of his altered physique, so Hanto cannot be taken to a regular hospital to get treatment. So, again, anytime Hanto is gravely injured, so he goes to Suga for medical attention. So, this is also where Shoma meets Professor Suga for the first time. And there is a scene, right? So Professor Suga taps Shoma's shoulder, but he does notice something on Shoma's shoulder, which is why he kind of did that in the first place. So Professor Suga noticed a strand of hair on Shoma's shoulder. So Professor Suga, being the mad scientist that he is, so he takes that as a DNA sample to study Shoma. So again, we do understand, or we should understand, that he basically created Kamen Rider Valen, right, using the gochizos that Shoma produced. Okay, so in order to understand more, now that he has finally met Shoma at last, right? So Suga takes the opportunity to study Shoma even more closely by picking a strand of hair that just happens to be on Shoma's shoulder. Now, imagine that scenario. So this is actually the prevailing theory, and I guess this is also the most plausible origin of Bitter Gavv, which is Suga created a clone of Shoma using that hair. However, we know that realistically, that even if you try to clone any sort of, living being, whether it be a human or an animal, you cannot clone anything or anyone within a span of just a week. So, development takes time. It may take years, even with like accelerated growth, right? However, considering this is a tokusatsu show and reality really doesn't apply that much. So, we do know, or we do understand, however, that Suga has been working with Nyelv, right? Whether they are allies or they're just using each other for their own nefarious experiments. So we really don't know. Maybe the second part, or the latter one, is the more plausible one. But nonetheless, we do know that because Professor Suga has been working with Niel for quite some time already, so he may have had some assistance from Niel, or he might have been given some access to technology that would allow the creation of a clone in just a very short time. So we do know that this Bitter Gavv, or rather Dark Shoma, isn't really the Shoma that we know, because he actually doesn't understand how gochizos work, right? So the gochizos that we normally see Shoma, produce. So yes, he eats sweets, right? He eats snacks, especially those that triggers his, emotions, his core memories. So, uh, so again, like the popping gumi, for example, and so on. But this Dark Shoma, so again, Bitter Gavv, so he doesn't know how things work yet. So again, it is possible that he has only been created recently, because he doesn't know how to produce gochizos. So he tries to satisfy his quote unquote hunger by trying to devour different foods. But when he actually discovers like snacks that help him produce gochizos, so like, oh, so this is how it works. So again, we do understand, because I think, well, in the recent episode, so we do see the kind of preview actually. So, or rather, not really a preview actually. It was the actual episode. I'm sorry. If it's at episode 22, let me know in the comments. I might be wrong, so please correct me if I am. So episode 22, we do see Shoma and Hanto finally clearing up their misunderstandings, and again, Shoma finally tells the whole truth to Hanto, and Hanto accepts, right? So they work together again when they see Bitter Gavv. So this is why, if you've seen like teaser photos, and it's also shown in the preview trailer for episode 22. So we do see Valen and Gav working together to fight Bitter Gavv. So we see two Gavs basically. So this is where we see that Bitter Gavv is a clone. So this is it. This isn't Shoma who turns dark or like has a split personality. This is where we kind of confirm that uh, Bitter Gavv is a separate entity that just so happens to be made from Shoma's DNA. So the most plausible reason for this is that Suga created this clone from the strand of hair that only took a week to develop for uh, thanks to some unknown technology. And again, we do understand that this dark or bitter Gav is still kind of immature because he doesn't know how things work yet. And this bitter Gav, actually, so this dark Shoma, so he does state his goal, and he says he wants to become the ultimate life form, which is kind of interesting. So what is his intentions? So we don't really know. How are they going to deal with this? And are we going to see more of Bitter Gav? Definitely, because he has kind of like a form change, not necessarily a power up. Like kind of when Shoma transforms from popping gumi into Zaku Zaku chips, for example. So uh, Bitter Gav's sparking gumi. So he does have this form change into Baki Baki stick. So like kind of like a stick snack. That again. So he devours and then grants him a new form. So that's how Bitter Gav kind of works, the way we see it right now. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing like how far they could take Bitter Gav's story, and I am interested in seeing you know how Shoma is going to deal with his kind of dark clone moving forward. So yeah, I am excited to see future episodes of Kamen Rider Gav because things are getting really, really interesting. So what do you think? So please tell me what you think of Bitter Gav down in the comment section. As always, thank you for watching. Please do leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you next time. Bye.